What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dropping Wisdom with Santos podcast. And today I have a reoccurring guest. Please introduce yourself, buddy.
Hey guys, my name is Brian Cavanaugh, founder and owner of Cavanaugh Fitness. I run an online consulting business for fitness enthusiasts and fitness professionals, and I'm also a personal trainer at One Life Fitness here in Virginia Beach. So thank you for having me on the show again.
Oh, anytime, brother. Anytime. You're going to be episode 139.
Yes.
Okay, now you're a professional fitness trainer. Your Facebook is Cavanaugh Fitness. Your Instagram account name is Cavanaugh_Brian.
Yep.
And your website is www.cavanaughfitness.com.
Absolutely. Please
Okay.
visit.
Now, since you've been on a few times before, I want you to give everyone, the new people listening in and watching, tell us your background, your experience in being a professional trainer.
I've been a member of a gym since I was 16 years old and I was a competitive fighter. I needed to get bigger, faster, stronger for sports. Having a background in martial arts also made me a natural instructor. To get a black belt means you have to be able to pass on the sport. That's part of our heritage. So the combination of being a natural teacher, along with my love of exercise science and strength training, eventually I got my college education and I got all the advanced certifications to be a personal trainer, certified strength conditioning specialist, and something I'm very proud of, a corrective exercise specialist. For the last 20 years, I've built my career as the premier personal trainer in Hampton Roads, working with a wide variety of clients from all walks of life. So that's basically my background professionally. I've been a personal trainer at One Life Fitness for the last 12 years, and I've been recognized for 11 out of the last 12 years as the number one trainer in the country.
Why? Why not 12 out of 12?
My family, well, that's a good question.
Okay.
And this is something we might discuss today because my business, Cavanaugh Fitness, my life, my role as a husband, my role as a father has made a paradigm shift. And that's because a couple of years ago, we had a family crisis. I was previously married, and it's hard for me to talk about, but my ex-wife had a mental health disease, and that ended our marriage. And unfortunately, also was the ending of her life. So the year that I was not recognized as a top trainer in the country is because I fell on my ass completely, and it took everything I had to maintain my job, but my number one priority was maintaining the health and safety of our two children, and I took a year to turn inward, and I kept my job, I kept my business, stuff worked out the way it was supposed to work out, but I needed a year to heal. I needed a year to heal my family. I needed a year. So a lot's happened since then that maybe we'll talk about in a little bit. But now that year is over and God has blessed me with the most abundance of happiness, my wife, Elizabeth, my children are thriving. Again, we can talk about that in a minute. But now I'm back on top.
Great. That's great. That's great. Okay. Now, talking about the mental health, let's get right into your work-life balance.
To become one of the top trainers in the country, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I downplay myself. I've always succeeded in life at whatever I wanted to succeed at with an unwavering work ethic that I will outwork every other human being on the planet. Well, my goal was to be the number one personal trainer in the country. My goal was to be able to be a financial provider for my family. So with that said, I did not have what I call the 360 degrees of success. I was a successful personal trainer. I would work from 6 a.m. until 10 o'clock at night. I would work 7 days a week. And if I wasn't working, I was in my office writing my vision board, doing continuing education, which those things are important. I still do those things. But I had no friends. I did not spend an adequate time with my family. I did not spend an adequate time on my own spiritual happiness. So one of the big changes when I had my year to reset and I said I can create the life I want, and again Elizabeth came into my life, I realized, okay, what can I do to be a top trainer, if not the top trainer in US fitness, but what can I do to have a flourishing relationship with the woman I just met and fell in love with? What can I do to continue having a healthy, beautiful relationship with my two amazing children and now her children? And also it was missing time with my friends because I decided I don't need friends, I need work. So that's been my big focus, is learning how to work smarter and harder, but to have true success in all aspects of my life. So that was hard for me because I have an obsessive compulsive personality. I'm all in 100% when I get my hands on something. So learning how to manage my time, learning how to manage my emotions, learning how to manage my focus to do very well at all the things I care about. So that's kind of what I mean by the work-life balance. I get up early. I've got clients that start at 5 a.m., but I've got a hard stop. It is hard for me to say no to people. And when I realize if I say yes to other people all the time, I'm saying no to myself. I'm saying no to my wife. I'm saying no to my children. And they don't deserve that. So I learned how to create the boundaries that at 6 p.m., I'm done. Brian, can I get a session Monday night? No, I've got this available on Tuesday because on Monday night I have dinner with my wife. I have dinner with my children on Wednesday. So that's been the big shift in my business is learning how to say no once in a while and say yes to my family and to my wife and myself. And as a result, I've increased the value of my time, and not that what I do is about money, but I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. I'm creating a greater impact on others because of the fact that the value of my time has increased because I created that value. And I have more to offer the world because of my fulfilling relationship with my wife and my children and my friends.
Awesome. Okay. Circle of excellence.
Yeah, so I've always intuitively known that my peer group has elevated me, but recently I was talking to a buddy of mine and we decided to create a private men's group. We call it the Tribe of Tidewater, and there's about a dozen men, and every single man in that group is an industry leader. Like I'm talking about the tier one most elite individuals in their various industries, whether it be real estate, whether it be finance, whether it be banking, whether it be a lawyer. We've got one of my friends is a doctor, he's a radiologist, but we've handpicked all of these men that I happen to all know. They're extremely successful in their business, but what also stands out is these are the most inspiring husbands I've ever met. Like they covet their wives, they cherish their wives, they're loyal, they're amazing husbands, they lead with a sense of servitude. So the circle of excellence, that's been the game changer for me because before all I did is worked and all I did is focus on my clients. I didn't allow enough time to be inspired, to be empowered, to be educated. So once a quarter we have this dinner, and in between dinner we have our group text and we've got our group page on Facebook. But surrounding myself and actually engaging with all of these other extremely amazing men that are not just successful at their jobs, which they are, but they're also successful with their marriages and with their families and with their children. That's been so inspiring to me. And it's amazing to be able to pick up the phone 24 hours a day and text one of these friends and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Or, hey, I've got to choose between A and B. Can I run something by you? Or, hey, congratulations on that accolade I saw that you received. Good on you. I'm inspired. I'm going to do better too. So
that's great.
I'm leveling up because everyone in my circle, everyone in my tribe is leveling up. And we inspire each other. We encourage each other. Sometimes we roll our sleeves up and help each other and share resources.
Kind of reminds me of the Fellowship of the Ring, Lord of the Rings. Except of course, where's my invite?
You will be at the next dinner.
Invite me.
Yes.
I might bring something to the table.
You would bring more than you bring.
Maybe a few shots. Okay, what about servitude and gratitude?
I'm going to be honest, and the first time you had me on the show, again, we've been friends since we were kids. We were friends since we were in college, even though we went to different schools.
And you're penny low for years.
Oh, stop it.
Before the tattoo years.
I think it came from a position of insecurity, and that was an insecurity born from my childhood and never feeling like I was good enough. But everything I accomplished, everything I achieved, and I think I was humble. I think young people call it the humble brag now. I tried to maintain a sense of humility and how I presented myself, but everything I did, everything I achieved was for my own vanity. It was for my own gain. I wanted to make more money, yes, to take care of my family, but I wanted to take care of myself, and I wanted to be recognized. My attitude of servitude and gratitude is, I'll talk about my marriage. I met Elizabeth, the most amazing woman I could ever possibly meet, and we started dating and fell in love immediately. I can honestly say that there's never a moment when in my mind I think about what does she do for me? What can she do for me? Every day she blesses me with the most amazing amount of love, support, encouragement, and being my best friend. But every single day I wake up, my focus is how can I be a servant to her? How can I take care of her family better? How can I represent her family? How can I make her life better? How can I encourage her to be a better woman? How can I celebrate her for all of her accomplishments and just the woman she is? Well, that spills over to my children. How can I be the best father to my children? And I don't enable them. I don't allow them to be, knuckleheads. I hold them accountable to be successful in their own right. But what can I do to be of service to them? And then when I go to work, how can I be of service to them? And then when I walk around the community, how can I be of service to my other people in the community? How can I add value to your life, Santos, your podcast? You share so much information because you interview all of the top business leaders in Hampton Roads. What can I do to get that message out there and get your platform elevated? So every single day I make a checklist of how can I be of service to others. It starts with my wife, it goes to my children, it goes to my work, it goes to my community, and I always include myself. How can I be of service to myself? And some of your viewers are religious, some aren't, which I'm perfectly respectful of all of that, but I am religious. How can I be of service to God? And how can I live without being a hypocrite? Because again, I'm not perfect, but how can I be more pious in my daily activities? And once I found that I started just focusing on how I could be of service to others, I felt damn good about myself. And then coincidentally, the rewards came tumbling in, because when you truly dedicate yourself to be of service to others without your hands out wanting to receive, well, then you're blessed with abundance. People pay you more money. People want your services more often. Life just tends to reward you because you're not looking for it. You're not asking for it. You're just trying to give. And because of that, I'm grateful. I used to set such high expectations that I wasn't happy unless I achieved X, Y, or Z. Or I'm the guy that if I bought a Snickers bar, that wasn't good enough. I wanted the deluxe Snickers bar.
Like you gotta get the king size, bro.
Yeah, I was always moving on to what is the next best thing.
Yeah.
There's no next best thing. Nothing's ever freaking good enough. Until I realized I have everything I could possibly imagine. And that's something that my wife's helping me with.
How did you two meet?
Well, 3 years ago, I went to, can I give a plug to another business?
Yeah, man, that's fine.
Heirloom Restaurant, one of my top 3 favorite restaurants.
Yeah, I've been there
in the world.
before. Yeah.
They share the building with a dentist, and I was getting my teeth cleaned, and they scraped the crap out of my teeth. That hurt so bad. I'm not the toughest guy in the world. So I went next door to get something to drink to make my gums feel better, and there was this stunning woman sitting next to me, and Elizabeth introduced herself to me. We chatted. It turns out that her sister was there, who's married to my childhood friend, another local Virginia Beach business owner, and we had conversation. Now, you guys aren't going to believe this. I was shy, a little bit. But more importantly, I was going through a rough time. Like I said, my family had a crisis, and my life had this is going to be a reset. I waited 11 months, and then I sent a message on Facebook to Elizabeth and said, hey, the reason I didn't ask for your phone number, the reason I didn't initiate anything is because I wasn't in a good place. And your family deserves more respect than that, and you deserve more respect than that, and I wasn't in a position to ask you on a date and treat you the way you deserve to be treated.
Did she remember who you were 11 months later, or did she think you were a creeper?
Santos.
11 months later, I'm like, who's this weirdo messaging me?
She might have thought weirdo, but you don't forget Brian Cavanaugh. But
I feel you 100% when it comes to the dentist. I had a dentist on my podcast, Strawbridge Dental.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Man, for real, fuck the dentist. I can't stand the dentist.
No, I don't want to go back at her.
Yeah, I don't roll like that. But she's awesome. They're great, but she knows how I feel. I don't like going in there. But I understand how you feel about it.
It hurts.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you this. I would love to say that Brian Cavanaugh, the stud of all studs, has never faced rejection. So 11 months later, I send her a message. I give the best story that I have too much respect for her family and too much respect for her to just take her out at that time. I'll leave it at that. But Elizabeth, will you have a glass of wine with me and continue that conversation? You're not going to believe this? She said no.
I'll believe it.
Oh!
Well, you were giving her the answers like, look, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
That's what you were telling her.
I'm not ready for you.
Yeah,
but now I am.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, she said no, and I don't want to put her business out there, but she's an extremely loyal person, and she was in a relationship and said, hey, if it doesn't work out or things change, I'll let you know. And so 3 months later, she reached back out to me and started having conversations.
Did you remember who she was?
Oh, absolutely. I thought about her every single day for that last 3 months.
That's a good answer. Good answer.
Absolutely. And she asked me if that glass of wine was still on the table. And I said,
Nope,
absolutely.
it's tequila now.
I get better looking with tequila. I'll skip all the little details, but she reached back out and said, hey, I would like to continue that conversation. And I said, absolutely, but it's not a glass of wine. I'm going to take you to the best restaurant in Hampton Roads. And I got the chef's table, and we had the most amazing meal and wine and conversation.
Where's this restaurant?
Luce Secondo.
Oh, yeah.
Our good
That's
friend
my
Tony's
spot.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go with what I got to go with, and I've got good friends. So I made sure that the chef introduced himself, the head waiter, the sommelier. She's thinking, all right, this guy paid these people. He's not that cool.
Well,
so I made sure it was the best damn first date that woman ever had, and I made sure that's the last first date that woman ever had.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Wife.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you for asking.
Good, congratulations.
Not to turn it personal.
I love Luce Segundo. I've been there a few times. Let's just be honest here, man. I'll give him a shout out.
Yeah.
Gucci wallpaper in the bathrooms.
Yes.
Smart mirrors in the bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the meals are delicious. Me and Jason Cook, with his countertop business, installed the patio countertops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we installed all that
Nice.
stuff. And Cook put me onto that place. He said, we got to go here for your birthday, man. This is the pimp spot. I was like, oh, yeah. That place is, I ain't nothing bad to say about that place. Food's delicious. We love it. We love it there. Okay, now, I'm going to switch it up a little bit, ask you some questions.
All right, let's do it.
What is your recommendation of healthy diet meals for individuals that are unable to make it to the gym? How can they still look fit by having a certain type of diet if they can't hit the gym?
So I'm glad you asked that, because health and fitness should be synonymous. It starts from the inside out. So again, I would never discourage someone from going to the gym just because they eat like crap. But if I was truly being honest and truly being pure, it starts from the inside out. So anyone, every single human being, if you want to start having a better diet, a better nutrition plan, and you don't want to be super fancy and sophisticated, unprocessed food. Go to the grocery store and buy foods that you like that are unprocessed. I prefer building meals around protein first, a wide variety of vegetables, a little bit of fresh fruit, and again, carbohydrates are necessary. Please do not subscribe to anyone that says carbs are bad. I'm not saying you should eat 10 Pop-Tarts a day. That's not the kind of carbohydrate I'm talking about. But various varieties of potatoes, various varieties of rice, even unprocessed forms of bread and pasta aren't bad for you. So if for the average person that doesn't go to the gym, learning how to eat unprocessed foods, building a balanced plate, a balanced meal with proteins, carbs, and healthy fat, and then at the end of the day, it's math. And most of your viewers aren't going to buy a weight scale or the food scale. They're not going to measure their food with cups. But let's be honest. We know when we're eating the triple-sized, massive plate of food, and we know when we're eating in moderation. So for someone that doesn't work out, just wants to eat healthier, eat unprocessed foods in a balanced ratio of protein, carbs, and fat. And don't stuff yourself. Just eat an adequate amount of food and be good.
And I also noticed that the older I get, the earlier I need to eat. Like, I can't eat after 7:30. For a couple
PM.
Yeah, 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
If I eat after 7:30 p.m., all bullshit aside, I have nightmares.
Yeah.
If I eat late food, I have bad dreams and acid reflux in the middle of the night.
Well, my wife is next to me, and she was just touching her chest talking about the acid.
Yeah,
acid
and no matter
reflux.
what it is, I'm like, man, that never used to get me back in the day. But when you get older, you have to observe what you're eating and the times that you eat. That's one of my things. I can't eat after 7:30. I'm expecting a bad dream. That's weird to me. A dream, how a diet can affect your dreams.
Well, this is something I learned a long time ago, and I don't want anyone to think I'm being overly dramatic by talking about drugs, but most people treat drugs with respect. And by drugs, I mean prescription drugs that the doctor might prescribe to you, may or may not be recreational drugs, but we know drugs are powerful. Drugs change your physiology, they change your mental state, right? Well, what people don't understand is the human body produces drugs. We produce insulin, we produce cortisol, and when you eat food, that triggers your body to have a hormonal response. So when we're loading our body with high fat diets, when we're loading our body with high carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, sugar, and your body's spiking this insulin, and then your body just basically takes a big dump on itself and you feel like shit, or you're having nightmares, Well, that's because you just abused a drug. You don't think of food as a drug, but food is or has the potential to be either a source of positivity and empowerment, or it can be a depressant. Food is a drug because it creates a hormonal response in your body. So when you start eating unprocessed foods, when you start timing your meals properly, when you start thinking about the right macronutrients at the right time, you're telling your body to react optimally, and optimal hormonal health is the key to living a good life.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad I noticed that.
Another instance, a lot of people wake up in the morning and eat a donut or eat a Pop-Tart, or they have forbid drink some coffee and have something sweet and they get up on their day. I try not to make this too sophisticated with my clients, but if at all possible, wake up in the morning, drink a big glass of water, and eat some protein. And then a couple hours later, when you have your next meal, have some protein, carbs, and fat, like a normal balanced meal. But eating carbohydrates only as your first meal, which again, could be a granola bar, it could be a Pop-Tart, it could be a donut. I'm thinking about shitty things, I'm thinking about things that most Americans think are okay. Those simple carbs first thing in the morning is a no-no.
Okay.
And that's again because of hormonal response.
You ever have a client blame you because they didn't like the results?
Absolutely.
And how did you handle that?
I smiled. I said, well, let's do a discovery process because I'll take responsibility for what I didn't do. And the first question I ask is, did I give you an amazing workout each and every time you showed up for your workout? Yes or no? Did you show up for all the workouts we scheduled? Yes or no? Okay, did I give you workouts to do on your own? Yes or no? Did you do those workouts? They could be at-home workouts, or did they come to the gym? Yes or no? So once we go through that discovery process, they know whether it's my fault or their fault.
And plus, after that, you ask them, like, after you got done working out, did you hit up Taco Bell?
100%. So when you just asked about nutrition, working out is always the right answer. So someone that eats like crap and doesn't work out, if they start working out, they will make an improvement to their health. Forget about how they look, which we want to look better. They are doing something positive, and I will always say positive makes positive results. But if they have expectations of physical results, like a transformation of body composition, how they look, how they feel, what it feels like with their shirt off, I could train them expert level. I could train them like an elite Division I college football player. I could train them like a Navy SEAL. I could train them however they want to be trained. If they're doing all the wrong things with how they eat, they're never going to get the results they think they want. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's rare that clients, because again, I attract a very high level client. I attract clients that take personal accountability. So I can say in my career, 1 or 2 clients looked at me and said, why am I not seeing results? And we had that conversation. But I got to say, it's very rare. The 1 or 2 clients I've got that don't eat the best, they know that.
Your online training, how do they link up with you online? Is it just through your website? When you give online training, is it through Zoom or Google Meets? How is that?
Honestly, I cater that to the individual. So some clients will send me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook asking about online training. Others will go to my website, www.cavanaughfitness.com, and they inquire about it. But what happens is I will either do a text message if that's what they're comfortable with, or a Zoom meeting or FaceTime or the Teams meeting, whatever platform they have. We'll do an interview, a discovery process. I'll ask them about their current state of health, their current state of fitness. We'll talk about their wants, needs, expectations. We'll talk about their goals. And I'll also ask them, what do you have access to? Are you using a home gym? Are you going to a commercial gym? Again, I'm not going to give a cookie cutter plan to someone that they're not going to do. I try to get my hands around who they are and what they want to accomplish and give them a custom plan. And usually what I do is every Sunday I send them a week's worth of workouts and a week's worth of guidance. And then as they execute it through the week, they're allowed to send me text messages or do a quick FaceTime or Zoom to ask questions, and basically I act as a consultant.
Now, a quick question. When you say you're the best personal fitness trainer, ranked number 1 in the nation, is that through One Life, or that's just overall in all the gyms?
From One Life Fitness. And
okay, One Life Fitness, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of different metrics, but if you took a look, and we measured this for a 3-month period, even though to me, I need to do my job year round, I was by far the number 1 revenue producing trainer in the country out of 70 clubs with a dozen trainers in each club.
And which One Life are you located?
I work at One Life Fitness Princess Anne.
And you will not go to others for training. They need to come to you at Princess Anne.
Absolutely. For one-on-one VIP training or my women's small group program, all of that's conducted at One Life Fitness Princess Anne. But whether you hire me for online training Or if you're a one-on-one personal training client and you come and see me at Princess Anne, I will write you the workouts to do at any of our other locations.
Okay.
I've got clients coming from all over Hampton Roads 1, 2, or 3 times a week, and I give them the hands-on instruction, but the rest of the week they execute the workouts that I designed for them underneath my guidance and mentorship.
I got a phone call the other day from a guy named Glenn Youngkin, and he told me that you're having a breakfast at the governor's mansion.
Oh.
Explain this to me.
All right.
Because I wasn't invited, but yet you are. Explain how.
So there's an organization called the Fatherhood Organization, and this is an organization that basically stepped up and said that they wanted to recognize the role of the father, and I'm not going to get into something super touchy and upset anyone, because some of the most amazing women I've ever met are single moms and they're single dads out there, but for today's conversation, the governor wanted to bring attention to the fact that a strong dad, a dad that sets a good example, is very important. So they created this organization, and again, without getting emotional, we touched on the fact that, again, I have 2 beautiful children, and for the sake of transparency, I have never in my life since I've known them called them my stepchildren, but technically by marriage they are my stepchildren. But when I met them, I took them on as my son and daughter, and they are my son and daughter, spiritually, emotionally, and financially to the degree that I do, because they have an amazing dad. I don't want to not say that, of course. But the fact that a stepdad, and also the fact that my family had a crisis and my children lost their mother, it's probably one of the greatest honors I've ever had in my life. And the person that nominated me for this accolade is not my personal friend, but the governor's office contacted me and said that next Friday on the 13th, they're having a breakfast at the governor's mansion because they recognized outstanding father figures in the state of Virginia that set the example. And they said I was chosen for the fact that I love my children, Luke and Rachel, and I've mentored them, I've raised them, I've helped groom them for success, but also the role that I play in my wife's children, Elizabeth's children, and also I have several good friends that I've mentored their children. And in my mind, it was just me being one of the men in the circle in our tribe, being a fatherly figure. But yeah, so they're having a special breakfast in honor of Father's Day, and I was recognized as an outstanding father in Virginia.
Congratulations, that's awesome. Where is the mansion?
It's in Richmond.
Is it in Richmond?
Yeah, it's in Richmond.
Do you know the menu?
No, I hope it's good. I hope they have protein.
Yeah, shrimp and grits.
If they were smart, they would have the rustic spoon cater it, but I don't think they did.
Are you allowed to bring a +1?
They did not allow me to bring a +1.
Cheap asses.
I know, right? I told them I'd pay extra.
Yeah, right? Yeah, wow, that's crazy. You can't bring a +1.
No.
Man. But, okay, now, how many local shows have you been on? Because I've seen you on, like, these local WTKR, Wavy, News Channel 10. What are the main shows you've been on locally?
Well, they all pale in comparison to Dropping Wisdom with Santos, because no wisdom gets dropped.
Well, let me just say, host-wise, yeah, you're right. Because I'm the best host around town, but go ahead about your show.
The Hampton Roads Show, and I apologize for flaking and forgetting the channel that's on, but the Hampton Roads Show, most notably, I've been a guest on there 5 times. Also, help me with the name of the radio show, Woo Woo and Bobby.
I don't listen to radio.
Yeah, so I think...
But you've been on there, that's what I'm saying.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike and Woo Woo. Mike Powers. Yeah, don't beat me up, Mike. So Mike Powers, I think he's also the lead singer of that band, the Fighting Jamesons. He's had me on his radio show multiple times ever since COVID. So I've been on a few radio shows. I've been on the Hampton Roads Show a couple of times. And I believe this is my 3rd or 4th visit on the Dropping Wisdom.
Yeah, man. All right, I was like, I always see you on those shows. Like, you post, or I see you online and everything. I always think that's really cool, man.
And there's a really cool neuroscientist guy named Ryan Munsey. He wrote a book called F Your Feelings. And it's not one of these touchy-feely, good-feeling books. It's the fact that, again, we need to understand the difference between our parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system and make logic-based decisions. He had something called the Better Human Project. And I was a guest speaker a couple of times at events he hosted.
That's awesome. That local too?
No, he's a nationwide program.
Where did you go?
I went up to Washington, D.C. in the Tyson's Corner area.
Okay.
To present a couple of times at one of his conventions.
Awesome, man.
One of my biggest goals is, for me, I am a health and fitness professional. That going to the gym and getting the workouts in is how I got started, and I still love it. But it is always my goal to help everyone, whether they're 8 years old or 80, male or female, to be fit and healthy. And that is physical, emotional, mental, and however you define it, spiritual. And so that's always been my thing is I want to be in the gym. I want to be in the places of worship. I want to be in the events that our community believes in. And I want to be an ambassador of health and fitness on all
Sounds like that's what you're doing. Yeah,
I'm trying to.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a servant to others because, again, my accolades will come, my financial success will come, which to me is a vehicle to take care of my wife and my children and my community. But being of service to others is my place in this world and how I get my satisfaction.
Okay. Well, we're going to come down this to the end of the episode pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So before we close out, have you ever, since we last talked, you've ever seen a ghost or any supernatural paranormal activity since we last talked? Putting on part of the Santos signature questions.
Yes. Excluding the time that I backtalked my wife and in the middle of the night, I felt this presence of a dangerous being hovering over me with her hands kind of like in this position towards my throat. I don't know if it was my wife or a ghost, but I was getting choked.
All right, well.
No, not since the last time.
All right, well, thank you for coming on. Cavanaugh Fitness is his Facebook account. His Instagram account is Cavanaugh_Brian. His website is www.cavanaughfitness.com. Episode 139. He's at the One Life Princess Anne location. And please follow me on all the social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. If you want to be a guest, please reach out. I'd love to have you on. And go ahead.
And guys, if you send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, I don't care what platform, and you mention Dropping Wisdom with Santos, I will give you one free personal training session valued at $150. Wow. Mention that you're a fan of Santos, and you get one free session along with a consultation with me.
Let's say you're a fan of the podcast, not me personally. They don't fit out the herd a little bit too much. Well, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. Hopefully you get some people, maybe one, hopefully someone might like me. I don't know. Hopefully. But thank you for being a guest again, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you all next time.